My name is Kiana, and I am that bitch.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
I look like I got eyebrows.
Hey everybody, my name's Tiana and welcome to my channel. Today I have my sister with me, Kiana. We are twins, and we're going to be giving you guys college advice. I think we bring a lot of cool information because we both have had totally different experiences. I first started off doing environmental engineering, and then I switched to pre-nursing, which I'm currently in right now, and I also transferred schools to where she's at. And she...
And
was that okay? Or was that awkward? Okay.
Let me go. It's my time. And I was a business major, but I'm not good at math, so I switched to psychology. And I stayed at the same school.
So we have a bunch of advice to give you guys, and also she has a YouTube channel that I'll link below. It's about books, but she also wants to start a lifestyle /beauty one.
I can't guarantee.
Possibly.
There you go.
Oops. So I have written down a couple little bullet points of what we're going to be talking about, and the first thing we want to bring up is like the practical things. So I'm going to talk about books. We're going to talk about books. So the first thing is don't buy the books right away. Like, wait till you get to class.
But don't wait until the end of your first week to go get your books, because then your books will be gone. So just go ahead and go ask your teacher if you're actually going to need them, and look online to see if they're actually photocopied.
Right. And if you're like an anxious person like me, like you want to be prepared and all of that, about a week before school starts, I always email my professors to see if I actually need the books or not, and then I'll ask them if, like, can I do the version before, like, if they want the 2018 published version, I'd ask if the 2016 one is efficient or not. And yeah, that'll save you a lot of money. Right now, my books are looking to cost about $500, and I'm hoping to lower that down by finding PDFs and all of that. So a smart thing is to take your ISBN number for your book and put it into Google search.
Also, if you can, rent your book, but only rent your book if you're mature enough to do that. Because I rented a book and I didn't turn it back in, so it was pointless, and now I owe money for a book.
I'm dead. Next thing is signing up for classes. We've both been in situations where we signed up super late, so we've gotten to the wait list, and you don't want to be there. And then moving on to that, when you are signing up for classes, look at teacher reviews.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Because then you might get a teacher that is rude. Okay, so make sure you look that up.
Yeah, and you can ask your counselor about that. You could just look up, like, there's websites for that too that I don't know of. We have a specific one. The next thing we said for practical advice is don't skip class. I am definitely a culprit of skipping class. Especially when I got comfortable my freshman year, I was like, oh, like, I don't really need to go, I can teach myself. Lies. Those are lies.
Yeah, I skipped my physics class, and then I act surprised when I didn't know what a test was. Because you didn't have to go to class, but it was like encouraged, and I didn't know when any of the exams were because I skipped the class.
Right.
And it's really embarrassing to ask your professor, who you haven't seen all year, when a test is going to be, even though he just mentioned it. Oh, another thing, if you go to class, be involved, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You might as well just skip class if you're just going to hang out in there, because from my own personal experience, you will fail your class if you're just chilling in there, okay?
And I'm going to be doing a confidence video later on that I think will be nice for back to school, because I know a lot of people are, like, nervous about talking about, like, asking questions or clarifying things in class, but...
I'm definitely going to watch that video.
Honestly, like, when you start doing stuff like that, it's just going to make you more confident in what you're learning, and, yeah, just improve your grades overall. Oh, homework.
Can I just mention something on homework?
We'll keep going.
I'm just going to mention something on homework real quick. Go ahead and do it, especially in your math classes, because most math classes have their homework online, and my teachers every single year don't require you to turn your homework in until the end of the school year. And so I'll be like, oh, I got so much time. I failed a math class because I didn't turn in my homework. Because you can't, because it takes like an hour to finish some homework. You can't do all of that the night before, because that's like 24 hours of homework you have to do.
I feel like that's crazy that teachers had, like,
that they let you do that.
Yeah. None of my classes did that. I think UCCS is a little bit different than other schools, which is kind of nice because maybe that teaches you responsibility.
It taught me responsibility for sure.
Oh, and another thing about homework too is, especially if you're going to a STEM major, I know non-STEM majors, it's kind of hard to find answers to your homework, but for STEM majors, it's really easy to find answers, especially because the teachers just kind of recycle the homework. So I would just go on to, you guys, if you want to be successful, please, for the love of God, do not download Chegg. My first year of for engineering,
or if you download Chegg, use it responsibly.
Right.
That should be a better answer.
No, I don't
Yes,
think
use
so.
it responsibly.
Okay, she's gonna say use it responsibly. I'm gonna say don't use it at all. When I switched to nursing, I was able to finish with all A's, and it's because I did my homework completely by myself or with friends, and that helped me so much, because when you can't look for the answer, it makes you, puts in those skills that allow you to work through difficult problems. And so I think it depends on what class you have, and also if you are able to use it responsibly.
Or if you have friends.
Yeah.
Like she just said use friends, but
Yeah.
I don't got friends. So we gotta use our tools. Also, photomath, girl, go ahead, use photomath.
I'm dead.
But
I
also
can't.
don't abuse photomath, because then you'll be in your test wait,
I think it should
how's
be
this
the
work?
last option. I think if you've gone to your teachers, you've gone to tutors, and you still can't figure it out, then do Chegg or photomath.
I like photomath.
Oh my gosh. And the next thing is, when you go in, I'd recommend, even if you're dead set on doing engineering, I would recommend going to the school fairs and stuff like that and looking at the internships there that don't even apply to your major, because you may find out that, for me, for example, engineering was not for me. By going to the school fairs, I realized those internships, a lot of them sounded so boring. I was like, I don't think I could just not see myself doing stuff like that, and this isn't an idea of what you would be doing in the future. And so if you're looking at not only your internships for your major, but also for other majors, you can get an idea of what you want to do and what just doesn't fit. She's gonna was our cat again. And then also what just doesn't fit who you are as a person.
Also, electives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're kind of curious, if you picked a major already, but you're kind of curious about another major, I would seriously recommend doing an elective that matches that major a little bit, because that's what I did.
That's actually really smart. I didn't do that, and I know for some people it's hard to do stuff like that if your schedule's tight. But but always remember, you may not finish in 4 years. Most people actually don't finish in 4 years. The average time span is about 5 years. So if it means taking out one of your general classes for an elective to figure out what you want to do, I'd recommend doing that. Because if I would have done that, I think I would have realized earlier on that engineering wasn't for me, and I'd actually be saving money. Yeah. And then the next thing is too, more than likely you're going to switch your major or think about switching it. I switched majors completely. She switched majors completely. I had friends that switched within the engineering program. Almost everybody I knew switched what they were doing, or they added some emphasis to it. So don't feel bad if you go dead set in I'm gonna do pre-med, I'm gonna do business or something. Mm-hmm. Be confident in switching it up.
And be realistic.
Oh yeah.
Too, because I wanted to be a business major because I like that major. But here's the thing, I'm not good at math, and it would take me 10 years to graduate. I'm telling you. So, you don't have to be realistic, but for me personally, I just went with the major that I also enjoyed equally, but made more sense for the type of personality that I have.
Make sure to manage your stress and try to get to the root of the problem. I definitely struggled a lot my freshman year, and I thought it was only because of classes, but there's definitely a lot of other things factoring into it. I was working and trying to do way too much while in a really difficult major. So just manage your stress, figure out what you could do to relieve that, if it's taking a step down from certain clubs, or if it's maybe not stressing so much about school and putting in more free time into your schedule.
Utilize your school counselors.
Yeah.
Because part of your tuition is paying for a couple free sessions of counseling, so you might as well utilize them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys, now we're going to be moving on to the social part. So I'm definitely more of an extrovert. I think it's a mixture. I'm an extrovert, introvert. I'm a little shy sometimes.
And I am also an extrovert.
She's not. She's an introvert. This one is joining clubs. I think joining clubs is a great way to make friends. My freshman year, I joined BSA, NSBE. What else? BSA,
Did you
NSBE.
go to the African one?
Oh yeah, ASA. And I was part of this program called EcoReps, which was like a sustainability program, and I also had a job. So, first things first, don't join that many clubs. I would say pick one or two clubs that you're very dedicated to, and if you have a job, just do one club. I completely overwhelmed myself my freshman year by trying to join too many things. So either join like a cultural group, or another thing that I think would be really cool too is join like an outdoors group. That's my plan to do at UCCS. I joined a picnicking club, and I made and I met a couple cool people there. So definitely think about what you can manage on that, but that's a great way to make friends. What do you think?
I joined one club, and I made no friends from it. That could have been a personal thing.
Right.
Not too sure. I also only went to like 3 meetings. I tried 3 times. But I didn't make most of my friends from class and from going to work. So that's how I made my friends.
And I think that's nice to know too, is like if you join clubs and you're not able to make those connections, that's okay. Your college experience, like, it's not going to be the exact same as ours or anybody else's, so don't panic if you're not making friends when you first get into your freshman year. Especially, or your sophomore year either. I personally made my friends more my sophomore year, but I knew upperclassmen that said they hadn't made their friend group until their junior year. So don't stress if it's not working out that well. And then also, especially with quarantine going on, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But I would say if you meet friends from clubs and all of that, try to figure out ways to connect with them. So maybe you can't meet in person, do a Zoom call, stuff like that, text each other. I don't know. Like, come up with creative ideas to build deeper relationships.
Also, they did a study a while ago that most college students feel lonely, so don't just assume that everybody around you has friends.
Right.
Don't be like, I'm the only one that doesn't have friends. No, a lot of people probably feel lonely anyway, so that gives you opportunity to make more friends because everybody wants to have that experience in college
Right.
for the most part. So
The next thing you can do too is join a sorority. My freshman year, I felt like I had
so
it.
simply. Join
Join a sorority. My freshman year, I felt like I didn't really make the connections that I wanted to, and so I decided to rush. And again, as a person of color, I was really nervous about doing this because I went to a predominantly all-white school, so I knew I was going to be like one of the few black people rushing, and I was, like, that was a correct
If
statement.
you don't know what rushing is, it's like the Hunger Games for sororities.
It was so stressful. I was calling my mom, like, every single day because it's a very, like, if you don't go into it with the right mindset, it can be kind of depressing, but I kind of went in thinking, like, I just want to make friends. And let me tell you, some of the closest friends I made were people that were in my Rho Gamma group. And it was so cool because somehow not everybody, but a lot of people in my Rho Gamma group, we all ended up joining the same sorority, which was actually on purpose because we kind of, like, sat down and we're like, what houses did we get? And that matched each other's, and we're like, oh, okay, like, let's join the sorority together. So even if you don't decide to join a sorority, I would recommend rushing because you meet so many people doing it, and that's just a nice way to make friends. The next thing, and again, like, she didn't do stuff like that, so
I'm not like other girls.
if you're an introvert, maybe try putting yourself out there and doing that, but if that's totally out of your comfort zone, don't. The next thing I would recommend is, and this is, again, I lived in a dorm, and she she was a commuter, so she stayed at home. So my freshman year, I lived in a dorm, and for some reason, I didn't talk to anybody on my floor. I was so nervous, and I was kind of hoping that people would come up and talk to me, and it just didn't work out that way. So if I could go back, I would just talk to more people on my floor, ask them, like, hey, do you want to go get lunch together? Some people on my floor somehow already knew each other, so that kind of sucked. And so don't get your feelings hurt if you don't get along with the people on your floor. And another thing is, if you don't like your roommate, that's okay. Do not go in thinking that you and your roommate are going to be best friends. I definitely went in and was like, I'm going to be best friends with my roommate. This is going to be amazing. And I think during my entire year span of living in a dorm with her, I talked to her maybe a couple of times. I actually don't know why that happened. I was kind of confused. I tried talking to her, but it just didn't work out. So
Honestly, though, I don't know that many people that are actually close with their
right,
roommates.
I thought I was the only one that didn't like my roommate, and the more and more I talked to other people, the more I realized like everybody like had difficulties with their roommates, And then it's nice too, because now that I'm back home, it's so funny because since we're twins, I'm so used to having an automatic best friend with me like all the time. So that was a hard thing that I went through when I got to college, is I just wanted to have a best friend. And so I like not forced friendships, but I was like, we're best friends now. Because also like I just love people pretty easily. So I can talk to you for like an hour and I'm like, you know what? We're like sisters now.
And I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
What she loved, I was like, I already have a best friend, so I don't need any new
Right.
ones. Don't close yourself off like that.
Right. And I think it's just like a nice learning process. Like you kind of get to learn your friendship style. And I definitely realized that I could take a step back, learn to be alone for a little bit, and start placing more focus on stronger relationships rather than a lot of relationships. The next thing that I'd recommend is study groups. I think study groups are another great way to make connections. At the start of the week, like the first week of school, especially because of COVID, I know some people are going back in the beginning, and then their schools after Thanksgiving break are staying in lockdown, blah, 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 I think. So in your first week, I'd recommend, like, the people you're sitting next to be like, hey, like, would you possibly want to make a study group? And study groups definitely don't stay locked. I think as you get further into the school year, you may start talking to other people in your group, or through your clubs you might find that they're in study groups, but it's just a nice way to, one, do well in class, and two, to meet new people.
For my Black Union club that I was part of, they purposely told, like, we all had to introduce our degrees because they try to make our own study group. So I know some clubs do that where you try to study with the people in your clubs.
Yeah. Anyways, actually, I don't know, we just talked, like, I'm gonna leave that in for later stuff, but we're in quarantine.
Oh yeah,
don't go partying. We just went on this whole spiel. Do not go partying. You can wait till your school gives the go ahead. If they wait till
your
spring.
State. Wait for
Yeah.
America to go ahead, okay guys? When it opens.
Right.
Ow.
Okay. Anyway, so college is going to be a great time, you guys. It's a great time to, like, create connections and learn, and that's the biggest thing. You know, I know a lot of people get focused on, like, oh, friends, blah, 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 but just remember what you're paying, like, a hell of amount of money to be going for, and it's your major, and it's your degree, and it's what you want to do with your life later on. So always keep in mind that social distancing is important. Think about the health of others before you think about just what's going to please you, if that makes sense. But I hope your guys' freshman year is amazing. I'm really sorry that you're going into kind of like a chaotic situation, but I still think it can be like an amazing experience. And always remember, you're here for school, but also the experience as well. So just make sure to balance work and play.
Yeah.
You don't have any closing words?
Good luck.
Awesome. You guys, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.